What's a piece of propaganda that to this day still has many people fooled? Diamonds are rare and valuable. Dark roast coffee having more caffeine than light roast. People still don't believe me. The lighter the roast, the more caffeine. That carrots make you see better in the dark. The claim originated with the British to explain why they were shooting down so many German planes. They had actually invented radar. Edit. Just because this is blowing up and it's tangentially related. Rabbits shouldn't really eat carrots much at all. They are too high in sugar and lack the nutrients they need. The whole rabbit-carrot thing dates back to the origin of Bugs Bunny, who in an early cartoon mimicked a famous Clark Gable movie scene involving eating tons of carrots. Eventually the carrot became Bugs' trademark gimmick, and we've all since linked rabbits love carrots. But please, don't feel carrots to your rabbits, folks. They're bad for them. That the woman who spilled hot coffee on herself was an irresponsible idiot who filed a frivolous lawsuit. Edit. To clarify, she was horribly burned and the lawsuit was absolutely not frivolous. The term carbon footprint? It was coined by British Petroleum, BP, to shift the responsibility of climate change onto the common people. That one Lemmings documentary saying they'll all follow herd mentality and will run off a cliff if one of them does it. The film crew actually chased them off the cliffs. Edit. As I was so very rudely informed. Propaganda is only propaganda if it's political related. And isn't just any kind of misleading news or official information. Till. Ya bastards. Guinness is high in iron. This was used to market beer to pregnant women. For real. 1 ounce of nuts has twice as much iron as a Guinness. Edit. Cool. My biggest comment ever is about Guinness. That fat in food is bad for you. Food drives are massive propaganda. People believe that donating their unwanted food to a food bank helps people. Yes. It's a really nice thing to do. And absolutely creates goodwill and makes people feel good about themselves. It's a lovely thing to have children do to exercise, tune their empathy. Many of the donations are unusable, expired, damaged, and the cost of sorting and transporting donations can actually exceed its value to a food bank. If you want to help hungry people in your community, donate your time or money to your local food bank. On the flip side, please use your local food bank before you're in crisis. Before you're homeless. Before the electric is turned off. We want you to use the services as the first line of defense if you're struggling. Not the last. That you have a waiting period prior to reporting a missing person. There isn't one. One needs to buy an engagement ring in order to ask another for their hand in marriage, and don't get me started on that 2-month salary nonsense. The McDonald's hot coffee lady smear campaign. Coffee's is generally 130 F. McDonald's was 200. McDonald's had been cited on 7 other occasions that they were keeping their coffee at dangerously hot temperatures. The woman had 4th-degree burns to her genitalia. She simply asked McDonald's to pay the $20,000 in medical bills. They refused and she sued for the $20,000. The $9 million was added by the jury. ITT. People not understanding the word propaganda. Edit. A word. That adding MSG to food is bad or dangerous. It isn't. It helps enhance the overall flavor and makes food taste even better. That spinach is incredibly iron-rich. It is a good source of iron, but that it is a miracle food is due to a conversion error. A decimal was put in the wrong place, leading to a 10x misattribution. Vaccines causing autism. Funerals need to be expensive. Bro, what the fuck? Chemicals are bad for you. Try our all-natural, organic, GMO-free version instead. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. A good chunk of food health propaganda. Milk is a super drink, they build your teeth, bones. Eat beets, kale to detoxify your body. Drink apple cider vinegar to balance your body's acidity levels. There's a whole laundry list of them. And in all brutal honesty, almost all of them are people taking a study basic findings and exaggerating it to the extreme. The simple trick to having a healthy diet is just don't eat the junk food, processed food on a regular basis and you're fine. Eat a healthy amount per meal. If you follow those two, you will always be healthy barring extreme situations. That immigrants are stealing our jobs while simultaneously being jobless and stealing our benefits. That Subway bread contained ground-up yoga mats. It contained a dough conditioner that is perfectly safe for humans to consume that yoga mats also used. People were shocked that breathing in the chemical can be dangerous and cause asthma, so it must be dangerous to eat. But you know what other ingredient is used in yoga mats and bread that's dangerous or even fatal to breathe in? Water. They still phased it out because it's easier to just have chemists and chefs find a new ingredient than it is to teach Americans the most basic of chemistry. That water fountains are bad for you as they contain a shit ton of harmful bacteria. Take a swab of virtually anywhere and you'll get harmful bacteria. Napoleon being short is just British propaganda. He wasn't short. He was average height for his time. That you're supposed to bleed when losing your virginity. Everyone is different, and if you're making them bleed, you should step back. Anything that boosts your immune system is somehow good, because a boosted immune system is one that attacks your cells, and that's called an autoimmune disease. That nuclear power is dangerous. Even more so than fossil fuels. Dude, it's a lump of metal providing as much power as several tons of coal. Why do you think they wanted you to hate it? Till Reddit has no idea what propaganda is. That all fat is bad and sugar is okay. Windmills killing large numbers of birds every year. A couple outdated studies. Decades ago. Never really corroborated. And is almost exclusively used these days by fossil fuel proponents. US specific. But that socialized healthcare is somehow bad, more expensive, slower, etc., etc. There's a ton of lies out there about it. Taxing the rich makes everyone poor. The idea that we swallow 4 spiders in our sleep every year was a rumor started by a magazine writer in the 90s. He wanted to prove how any misinformation, even ridiculous and completely false info, will be viewed as true if it's confidently presented as a fact. That you need detoxifiers like charcoal smoothies or whatever shill health nuts try and force on you. Us humans wouldn't have survived this long if we didn't already have an organ that detoxes our blood and digests food. That recycling actually helps the environment. Finding out that was a scam was just heartbreaking. Man. Trickle-down economics. Money from the top just trickles into offshore tax havens. Reading this thread has me convinced people don't know what the word propaganda means. The entire flat earth community globe. That diamonds are rare and you should spend at least 2 months' wages on a wedding engagement ring. That's $10K if you make $60K a year. I mean, really, WTF. Nancy Reagan's drugs are America's biggest problem campaign. Asking American beforehand. Less than 20% thought so. After her campaign on drugs. Over 75% thought so. They created a drug problem winking face. Trickle-down economics. Women get looser the more they have sex. Catherine the Great fucked a horse. That piece of propaganda which was spread by her enemies was even mentioned in Wikipedia about her. When your parents said, "Don't eat the watermelon seeds. It'll grow inside you." Still can't believe I have believed it for 7 years. Edit. I've had this app for only 3 days and can't believe I have this many upvotes. Thank you guys. That drinking soy will raise your estrogen levels. Soy contains phytoestrogen, not mammalian estrogen. Phytoestrogen has no effect on the human body. Ironically, cow milk, which contains mammalian estrogen, does have an effect and will raise your estrogen levels. Big dairy benefits from people thinking soy will feminize them. No sue. Richard Gere Gerbil. The president controls the economy. That Wikipedia isn't a valid source for information. That political parties are a necessary part of a democracy. Marijuana is a gateway drug. The food pyramid. Not really propaganda. But it isn't dietary advice either. It was a product of the Department of Agriculture. And is misleading at best and dangerously unhealthy at worst. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like. If you would like to see more content like this in the future, subscribe and turn on notifications to be notified about future videos. Now check out one of these interesting videos.